Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and I am super pumped to show you this ship, guys. It is a new campaign ship, the Tier 7 Danish D7 Provincien something. Alright? You're not here for pronunciations, guys. So, I did the first 5 videos of today, and then hopped right into the ship. So, what did I do? And I actually recommend doing this, even though I wouldn't recommend normally doing it. I took it into AI right away, right after I got done with the first videos I did for today. Went into AI, went into standard. So you guys are going to see my first match that I did in this with standard. But definitely recommend getting used to the ship in AI. There's a few reasons for it. We'll talk about it, why, here in a second. Also, guys, this is a very busy ship to play, especially if you're going to play it the way I show on the build. You gotta be super aware. This has got a high skill ceiling, and it can be an incredibly powerful ship. I can already assure you this. Now, there's going to be people that are even going to be way better at it than I am. Now, that being said, this was just my first game. And I can definitely tell you this is going to be a good way to play it. And even though this has airstrikes in it, guys, you can build this for guns, and it can be very unique in that fashion. So this is like a really interesting ship to me because it's unique in so many ways. Not only is it our first Danish ship, but there is a lot of little things with this ship. So, we'll talk about it here in a second here, but let's start with the commanders first. The commander is Carl Dorman. Right now, this is all we have. In the build that I'm using, now this is mine, so you can either build completely into guns or into detection. And there's a reason for it. First of all, we'll talk about building into detection right now. This is the way I have it. I have Jersey Swirsky, Makawa. In the base trait on this new guy is stop at any cost, which is a very good base trait. And burn it down XXL, look at me now, sponge, and this new one, which, let's be honest, if I try to pronounce that, I'm going to have a heart attack, okay? But this is a very interesting skill, and this is why I say you could build into guns on this. Each main battery shell, torpedo, bomb hit by your cruiser results in damage up if you're hitting the same ship up to 50%. That is very significant. I don't think people are going to realize you can build this thing into the guns, and you absolutely could. Now, if you're going to do that, you might want to switch your perks around to whatever you want to build into the guns, and maybe go with fully packed. That's up to you. If it had refill station, that would be really handy on that build. But like I said, for our build, we're using this. With air support, this is a unique legendary skill, and it makes every other airstrike, if you are close enough, makes it 1 second, which can be super handy. Like I said, there's probably going to be some guys that pull out some really crazy games. But very early on, obviously, this is my first standard match. You guys are going to see right away. I'm going to show you, this is a very good match to showcase for you guys, because this is a very kind of good way to play the ship. Now, am I going to play it the best it can be? I don't know. You guys can judge on that. But for our upgrades, we're going with Aiming Systems Mod 1, Propulsion Mod 2, and Concealment Mod 3 with our main battery reload time. Now, this, if you're going to build into guns, the range could help, because this thing doesn't have the world's greatest range. It's not the worst either, but that'll be up to you. So, we're going to take a look at the loadouts. You'll notice we have airstrikes. We'll talk about that in the match. We have 2 engine boosts, defensive AA and 3, pretty subpar heals. I am running an epic battle booster to get the guns to fire a little bit farther. Also, this comes in very handy to get in position at the beginning of the match, which is going to be very key to the ship, where you get into a position. You do not want to get hit on this ship, trust me. Uh, Even in AI, was getting absolutely shredded the second I was seen. So you want to be careful with that. Survivability, that you might as well put as a 1 there. You don't want to get hit. You could take a lot of citadels in this thing. It's the only downside to this thing. Otherwise, this thing is so much fun to play so far. Aircraft, new little category here. You can see that you can do pretty solid fire chance on these bombs. And that's what, to me, the big thing is with this ship, this can be an absolutely devastating fire starter in the right hands, especially if you're in a division. This thing could just, I could see this thing absolutely wiping the floor with a lot of stuff. So, your guns, they look very subpar at first. They are 8 6-inch guns. That doesn't look that great. They have a decent reload time. The 180 time is, or a decent reload time. The 180 time isn't super amazing. And the damage looks low. But if you get focused on one ship with the guns and the bombs, and you can even see it in my match where I start getting focused on a ship, that damage starts to really increase as the match goes on. So just something there. Just, I know the guns look terrible. They're not as bad as I thought they were based off of them stats. The AA is solid on this ship. In the one match I did have to shoot down a couple of ships. Plus, you have the defensive AA. Not a whole lot to worry about it. Maneuverability, pretty average. Nothing stands out to me when I played it in that. With the speed boost, you can get to positions pretty quick, though. This is where this thing shines if you want it to. If you build in concealment, you can get it to 8.4. You could even get it a little bit lower than that if you wanted to, depending on what your commanders are. But 8.4, pretty fun to get it in positions. You're going to see that in our match. Stats, I'm not going to show you the standard match because clearly you guys just saw we only had the one. The guns aren't as accurate as they show here, but you can see from my average damage when I was first in this thing, even in AI battles, I was kind of struggling. I was trying to mostly use the airstrikes. They do take a little bit getting used to, guys. The closer you are in, the less time it takes some planes to get there, and the farther out, the longer it takes. And that's not a mechanic, even if you're used to aircraft carriers that you want to, or that you're used to. So you got to play that into factor when you're aiming these things. Armor. This thing doesn't have much. And besides that, the superstructure is huge on this ship. This, you'll see in our match, I'm next to an Iowa, and it makes the Iowa's superstructure not look big. I mean, it's ginormous. Against cruisers, you can definitely angle, but against everything else, for the most part, it's rough. If you get hit by a battleship, you're gonna feel it in this thing, and you don't want to. You really, to your best of your ability, don't want to be seen. And it doesn't have the best rudder shift, so you can't. It's not like you're gonna be super evasive with that. Also, this Citadel looks like it's pretty hard to hit. It's not. I can assure you, even the AIs were doing it. It's significantly easy to get rid of, so you want to not be seen the best of your ability. As we go ahead and start this match and check who we're up against, I do want to say it is disclaimer time. This is a beginner's guide to help out people just learning this ship or learning the game in general. This is not for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything. There is also multiple ways to build and play ships, so opinions will vary. I am just a above average player. I don't claim to be the best player in the world. I just am a pretty darn good player. So I do make mistakes. You're going to see some in this match. And also, you didn't come to this video to see how to pronounce names, as I am very terrible at slaughtering other beautiful languages. It's almost an art form, so keep that in mind when you're watching this, guys. with that being said, we are moving up. All right, we're gonna use our detection to get as close as we can. And I'm going to give credit to our destroyer on this side. He does a really good job for us. We have really fortunate to have a good teammate over here. He should have been probably, in my opinion, MVP. But we're going to go ahead and move up, use this detection. As you saw, we looked over at the Iowa. And you can see what I was talking about with this superstructure. It's giant. It's like having a big old kite on top, kind of. Anyway, guys. These turrets are 360-degree turning turrets, too. That's something I don't want to not mention here because, like I said, I am learning this ship for the first time. So I haven't seen any videos. Obviously, it's so early. I probably will have the first one out on this ship, to be honest, and playing it. But we're going to go ahead and move up into a good position. With the new aircraft spotting that came out today, we could give two cares less about him spotting us. They'll see me on the map, but they can't actually. They'll see me on the map, but they won't see me in front of them. So I'm not too worried about that. You can see I'm already trying to aim. We put out a fire. We start shooting down planes, and that is going to be about the last time I think the carrier is really going to focus on us. We're going to try to beach here. The reason is we know there's a destroyer over here. And we're really just trying to get close enough to focus on one or two ships. That's what I would do if I was using this thing. I get close, put yourself in a position where you can kind of aim and see where everything is. But our first salvo out of the airstrike, pretty solid, 8,000 there. And you see, destroyer's going to try to spot us. We're going to go ahead and get aiming on him and start helping. We got airstrikes going on the right-hand side. Now, some people are going to ask, how do you aim the airstrikes from above? Just hit L2 like you're zooming in on your shot. And that will allow you to do that. So he goes into a smoke cloud. I am in a good position here to go back to focusing on airstrikes. Now, you have to get your timing down. It will tell you kind of the time frame that you get, and you'll get kind of used to it, so be careful. But it'll only be anywhere from like really up close to you, be like 6 seconds or 5, all the way down to... I think it takes up to like 14 seconds. Yeah, as you can see there, the farther they get out. But we're going to be careful here. We're obviously the destroyer's in front of us, so that's what we're going to be focusing on. We're making them so small so we don't get hit by torpedoes. The big thing is you do not want to get hit by shells in the ship, and we want to stop him from getting the cap. So I always worry about destroyers first. Yeah, could I be focusing on a battleship and have big damage numbers? Yeah, but them not getting the cap is going to be big. So that definitely, with that perk that this commander has, definitely, if you can and you have the ability to focus on one guy, definitely can be beneficial. So you're going to see it. I am waiting for Kansas to try to get behind this mountain. I want to come up and not get spotted and just take out this destroyer to my left. That's my game plan. But you can see these things can be hard to aim. They're kind of like torpedoes in a way that people aren't just going to sail in a straight line all the time, especially when they realize you're there. So, you're going to see here, I'm kind of just checking out what these guys are doing. You can see now he is behind the island, and you can see I start to go. Even with my detection, he's going to get close enough where he could have spotted me if the island isn't there. We want to get into this cap and absolutely wreck this destroyer. That's my main concern. It always is, especially in a cruiser. But anytime I see a destroyer, I'm going for it. And I kind of cut off my teammate there. Sorry, teammate. But you're going to see I'm not super accurate with all my airstrikes yet. That'll come with time. Like I said, this was my first standard battle with it. You can see I'm trying to line up shots. Missouri's obviously looking at me, but Nagato and Kansas over here are kind of just sitting, so we're going to throw down a airstrike there. And now we're going to get behind this island here after we got rid of the destroyer. If you guys didn't see, I did end up killing that destroyer. We're going to just do our best to start unloading shells. And these guns are a little underrated. You can see we've only had 20,000 damage up to this point. And you're going to see we're going to start to rack it up. And this is a quick match too, guys. Like we go from 20 to, I think, whatever we end up with. I don't want to ruin it, but in a very short amount of time. And am I saying this is an absolute DPM monster? No, but it could be if you get your airstrikes pretty well. My airstrikes weren't super accurate, and that's just up to you getting your airstrikes down. And you're gonna see I get a little bit better with it towards the end, although we got to put it right on Kansas here. And we're just gonna light up Missouri the best we can. Obviously, I probably shouldn't have, you should try to focus on one guy. But now with the carrier not fully spotting us for the team, we don't care about getting spotted by the carrier. I don't know how I feel about the new carrier spotting yet. I don't play in divisions, so I kind of don't super like it, but we'll see. With that being said, here, we're going to focus. You can see we got a little shot here. We put ourselves in a pretty good position here to take on a lot of guys and not put us at risk. So, like I said, this ship can be rough if you are in open water trying to like dodge, or even AI wrecks you. It's pretty crazy. So we are just making sure Nagato isn't moving up over there. He's starting to get hit pretty good. We're gonna help throw some shells out. These 360-degree turrets are pretty neat too. A lot about this ship I really like. Obviously, it's not the tankiest thing in the world, but you can see I'm trying to plan out, but Nagato is, I think, already turning. So we're just going to do our best, and we're going to start to move up on everybody else. Then the carrier is spotted, and as you guys know, generally, if I can get rid of a carrier after a destroyer, that's a lot of times a really good target. And we switch over to AAP just because HE are probably going to shatter on the deck as we get 2 full pins. We're going to get some shatters and deflections, but for the most part, we're going to do our best. And we're still in a position here where we're not going to get shot at by them battleships. But you could 100% build this thing into guns, guys. You could. You 100% could. With that little perk that makes the damage go up each time on each, when you're focusing in on one ship, you 100% can. So that's up to you. I may do a video on that type of style of build later on. But I feel like if you get a very good game, now this match we had good teammates, this match is going to get over pretty quick. So there's really not a whole lot of damage for me on the table. But, for a few minutes of getting my airstrikes down and whatnot, not a bad game. This is definitely something where somebody gets a solid match out of it. As you can see, the Nagato goes down as I'm aiming at it. But we got rid of the carrier and the destroyer now, and we're going to focus on trying to get rid of Nagato. But if somebody gets a good game on this, I feel like if it doesn't get touched, because I won't say it needs to be nerfed, but I'm saying this can be very powerful in the right hands. This thing could, in my opinion, put up some really insane damage numbers and completely carry a team if you have some spotting. Like, it is really solid in my book. That being said, we end up top of the leaderboard with our teammate who's doing our spotting for us in first place. You guys are in second place there. You guys will have to let me know what you guys think of this ship. Obviously, you can have some struggle games, I'm sure, if you don't have spotting or you put yourself in a bad position. But, man, this thing, when in the right hands in the right game, could be just devastating, I feel like. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You guys have an amazing day, and we'll see you next time, folks. Have a good one.